overall, this Direct was just... Well, the Direct just aired, and let me tell you, I'm a little disappointed. Well, they started off with the worst kept secret since Roy and Ryu, being Twilight Princess HD, and I'm honestly pretty disappointed about the game, because when I was watching the trailer, I was seriously like, oh, they're probably just showing clips from the GameCube game, just to kind of do a compare and contrast to show how graphically overhauled this game is. I honestly didn't even realize it was HD until they literally said, this is the HD version. Like, I would have never even guessed. It looked like garbage. It looked horrible still. They didn't show off anything that was new about the game, a new feature, a new upgrade, maybe show how the gamepad's incorporated, nothing along the lines of that. They're just showing the same gameplay clips we've been seeing ever since, the game's been released. But I will say this though, they did have Link left-handed, therefore it is a port of the GameCube game, and I am a fan of that, and there's a bunch of people who criticized about that, specifically one of my friends, you know who you are. So anyways, besides that, all they've shown, there's a new amiibo that comes out with, that's Wolf Link, which I'll admit, it looks kinda cool. We have no idea what it does though. And they confirmed that the other Zelda amiibo, such as Toon Link, Ganondorf, and whatnot, the other 6, they'll be compatible as well, but we still don't know what those will do either. We've already knew it exists, Nintendo. We almost didn't even need you to show us a trailer of it. The gameplay footage, the in-game gameplay footage, looked horrendous. It looked like it looks like the Wii or the GameCube game of it. It did not look 1080p. It didn't look like the models were retouched or retextured. It doesn't look like an HD remake, at least in the caliber that Wind Waker was at all. I'm pretty upset about this. Twilight Princess is one of my favorite Zelda games. Matter of fact, one of my favorite GameCube games of all time. And when hearing the leaks and the words about there's gonna be a Twilight HD remake, I was ecstatic. I couldn't wait to see some sort of visual upgrade to the caliber what Wind Waker got. Wind Waker got such an amazing treatment. Literally, it's night and day when you look at those two games. But this one, it literally looks like the same thing. All they do maybe cleaned up some of the frames of animation, but that's about it. And as for a reveal trailer, you would think they would actually show off some of the new features such as gamepad incorporation, what the amiibo even does, and especially since the game's going to be coming out next March, I'm just severely disappointed in the title so far. Maybe there's still time to turn around, maybe there'll be some awesome gamepad incorporation, maybe the amiibo will do something so cool, but my first look at it is, this might be a pass on me. I love The Legend of Zelda. I'm addicted to amiibo, but it just didn't do it for me. I know this was towards the end of the Direct, but I'm just gonna bring this up now. The Smash Bros. Trailer at the end showed off the new Smash Bros. Trailer showed off Cloud from Final Fantasy, which honestly, I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. I know he's been a contender in Super Smash Flash since ever, so I know he's been like a fan requested character. Since the Melee days. I don't really play the Final Fantasy games. I've always been kind of just overwhelmed about how many titles are in the series, and I never really got myself into it. I know it exists. I know some of the iconic characters such as Cacturne, Black Mage, and I know who Cloud is. Of course. So seeing him in this game, so him being in this game personally for me isn't all too exciting, just because I'm not a fan of him. I'm happy of any representative in Smash, no matter who they are, so I'm still happy we're getting a DLC character. But you know what's so weird? No release date. They don't say it's coming out maybe, this Christmas. They don't say when it's coming out even next year. Nothing. No word on when it's coming out or anything along the lines of that. And matter of fact, they didn't even mention the Smash Fighter Ballot. Didn't mention it at all. Sure, we saw that Lucas Amiibo is coming out next year alongside that second wave of Animal Crossing Amiibo, but that's it. And oh my goodness, it was just so underwhelming. They also showed off some of Hyrule Warriors Legends, which, showed off what we've already known so far. We showed Tetra in the game, King of the Red Lion, Skull Kid, and the new characters. But then they showed off Linkle, which a lot of people have been speculating that the female crossbow wielding Link would finally make it back into this game, and I'm all for this. I'm a huge supporter of Linkle. I think this is a really awesome idea. Her moveset looks kind of cool and really fun. You know what I didn't like about this? They didn't even mention how it's going to transfer to the Wii U. That's the biggest question we've all been having. They've been doing character announcement after character announcement, saying every time taglining will be transferable to the Wii U title, and they never said how. Is it through a code when you have to buy the game, or can you buy it as separate DLC if you only want the Wii U version? That's the part that really upsets me. They didn't even put a date or even display how that program would work. I bet you this will upset a lot of fans. They announced 2 new Pokemon games. Well, kind of new. Neither of which were Pokemon Z. None were a new generation, none were an awesome masterful remake. One was a weird spin-off where you like paint in pixels to get a pixel art of a Pokemon. I don't know, that looks boring. I can't believe they're gonna actually make you pay money for that freaking game. And then, this is kind of cool. I'll admit, this is pretty cool. They're gonna be releasing in a sort of virtual console-esque release of the original Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and Yellow, all on the 3DS. They didn't really say it was a virtual console because there are upgrades to it, to the fact that you can actually trade between, you know, people who have the game and trade your Pokemon. You can battle, just like you used to be able to do in the Game Boy games, except this time you don't have to have a link cable, which is, I think this is pretty cool. There was another Pokemon game that I forgot. They did talk about Pokken Tournament that's going to be ported from arcades, and honestly, I used to be really hyped about the game, but I've slowly but surely been becoming more and more disinterested. And then this new trailer that they showed off was really all that we already knew. The Shadow Mewtwo trailer was already released a couple weeks ago, so we already knew that he existed and he would be in the console release of this game. If they would have actually saved that information for this presentation, it would actually have done a lot more for me and made me really hyped about the game, because what they really showed was really not much new information besides the fact that there's going to be an amiibo card used to unlock Shadow Mewtwo early. While you can still unlock him by doing whatever you do in game, you can but with the card you can get him early. But it seems really weird to me that you would buy one card just to unlock a character early. Once you use it that once, you'll never use that card again. It's literally worthless at that point. Or if you play through the game and unlock him conventionally, what's the point of even buying that amiibo card? A lot of people back when the game was first coming out in arcade and they were speculating that the game itself would come to Wii U, they were thinking, what if they made a Pokken Tournament lineup of amiibo using those new models and figures, and the Pokemon amiibo would sell just like crazy. And I was personally believing that that would be an awesome idea as well. But what they showed was just one simple card that literally isn't usable once you get to a certain point in the game. So what's the point of even getting it? I don't know. So then they talked about some RPG games, such as Paper Jam, which now they've incorporated sticker star elements into that game. Just what it needed. You can use stickers to power up your Mario and Luigi to fight hard, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't even matter. Then they showed off some Mega Man Legacy Collection, which is already out on every other console, and compared to the 1080p on PS4 and whatnot, it really is a bummer watching it on a 3DS screen. It just doesn't look that great. It really doesn't. I would have gotten this game if it was on Wii U. I really would have. Because I would love to play the classic Mega Man games, but I want the 1080p awesome experience that all the other consoles are getting. I guess it's nice that I get it on the go in the handheld, but it's just such a significant step back from the other releases. Then they showed off the amiibo support, which gives you some exclusive challenges, which that's meh. But then they showed off a gold Mega Man amiibo, which I know people are going to go nuts about. I know it's going to be an awesome collector's thing, and I know people are going to love it, but it doesn't even look that cool. What would have been cool if they actually had, like, kind of like 8-bit Mario, they had an 8-bit Mega Man amiibo. That would be amazing. That would actually show tribute to it being a legacy collection of Mega Man being in his classic form. Instead, they literally don't even have to change their production model. They keep printing the same plastic figure, and all they have to do, instead of painting it the detailed colors, they just spray it gold and then print it out. But hey, that was a common theme with this Direct. Not meeting expectation and just having an overall just lackluster impression. So they did talk about Mario Maker, but no DLC. Just that fact that there's this new web portal where you can like look up new stages. They didn't talk about slopes, they didn't talk about maybe some new theme packs. It was kind of a bummer, but maybe that's still in the works and they still got some more time to develop it, because I'll give it its credit since it's only been out a couple of months anyways, so it's still got time to work on it. I'm not going to complain about that at least. So they did touch on Fire Emblem Fates, which they did confirm that it's going to be separate releases, and if you want the other version, it's going to cost a lot extra. But if you want to get all three in the same package, which that's what I would want, it's 80 bucks. 80 freaking bucks. And it comes with like an art book and then a little sleeve, which I guess that's kind of a cool incentive to get it all bundled together, but that's going to be while supply lasts, I guarantee, and that thing's going to go quick. Okay, so they did touch on Star Fox Zero. In the first minute or so of that trailer they displayed, the game did look a little bit better, I will admit. So they either did improve the visuals, or because it was a pre-rendered cutscene, they can, you know, do a little bit more oomph than the game itself. But by the looks of it, kind of looks like they fixed that reticle problem the game was having with the gamepad. It was just so nonsensical just to try to aim, and it was ridiculous. And it's kind of locked onto the front of the ship, so when you move around, it still makes sense to where you're aiming instead of just going any way madness, so that's at least a good thing. But other than that, they didn't really show off much else new. And now it's delayed till April. That's 6 months from now, by the way. That's half a year from now. Which, granted, maybe it needs that time to fully develop, but I would have liked to at least see what features they're trying to implement in the future. A multiplayer mode, online, I don't know, it's not that hard. This direct just really, it just frustrated me. I had such high hopes. I thought Twilight Princess HD was going to be amazing. I thought it was going to be beautiful. I thought it was going to look good as, if not better than the tech demo on Wii U. I thought Pikmin 4 would be shown off or announced, and I really thought we were going to hear something about the fighter ballot, or at least have some DLC ready now. All the stuff they showed off, the only thing that's ready right away was the Splatoon stuff, which I already kind of expected. Splatoon's still going to get life to it through updates, and they did confirm it's going to be continuing to go through early of January next year. They've been doing an awesome job supporting Splatoon and keeping the train a-rolling with the awesome free updates and whatnot. Bill intentionally went out of the way to state that these updates were free, so maybe that's kind of a hint there's paid stuff on the way. But that's just, you know, that's just reading between the lines and kind of interpreting what he's trying to say. So I'm not even gonna go there. It's too bad. It's really just too bad. I was looking forward to this direct a lot. I was really hoping we'd see some new stuff for next year. But really, they kind of just recapped what they're doing this year, which honestly at this point, I just want to forget this holiday season. Amiibo Festival, I've been trying to keep up on that, and I've promised myself I'm not getting those Amiibo. Because even though I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, I'm still doing my best to not collect those things. Yet, anyways. They showed off some of Power Tennis, which still looks completely bare. They showed off Xenoblade, which you need to download like a million different things onto your hard drive for you even to load correctly. So I'm done. That was just something else. I'm still rooting for Nintendo. I'll always be a fanboy. But they really need to step their game up next year with the new, hopefully they'll be doing something right with the NX. With the direction they're headed currently with this kind of lineup, it's really killing my hopes. So what do you guys think? Did you like the Direct? Are you super negative about it? Are you hating on it? Or are you just adoring everything they just showed? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about what you guys think. And as always, give this video a big awesome like. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I do tons of Nintendo coverage. Hopefully on better games next year. Alright, see ya.